Hey guys, welcome back to DCS World. I'm Spud, as always, and today we're going to take a look at one of the missions that will be bundled with the new MiG-19P, Farmer B, when it is released to you guys. Now, Baltic Dragon, the creator of this mission, contacted me and asked me to show this mission off. He is undoubtedly the guy who got me hooked on DCS World, so I certainly couldn't say no. His campaign that he bundled with the Mirage 2000 when it was released absolutely got me hooked. That very first mission, my jaw hit the keyboard with that show of force flyover to break up that firefight, and just the gorgeous visuals of the twilight setting. And it's crazy to think that that was on DCS 1.5 before we had this gorgeous new Caucasus map. So the setup for this mission is in the 1960s, Premier Khrushchev launched a new set of laws giving more power back to the municipalities of the Soviet Union, called the Decentralization Order. This gave more power back to the localized Soviets within the greater Soviet Union. And the idea here is that the Tblisi Soviet has taken a little too much power, and it's morphed into a separatist movement. And so we're going to go ahead and reconnoiter and do some recon over Tbilisi and check out and see what's happening, as all communication with Tbilisi has been cut off. We're going to go and see if there's any fighting going on in the city, check and make sure all of the brand new SA2 guideline sites are up and operational, as well as see whether or not the local training base of Vizani Air Base has defected to the Separatists. Now, at that airbase, there are MiG-19 BISs, and so we'll be ready for anything that may come up to intercept us. Now, of course, we can't just let Georgia break away from the Soviet Union, because it is an incredibly strategically important area. It acts as a buffer with the NATO forces in Turkey, as well as having a large stretch of coastline on the Black Sea. So, without further ado, we'll go ahead and hop in the cockpit and we will get started. Alrighty, first thing we're going to do is shed a little light on the subject. And I think our cockpit should already be ready for us to go ahead and taxi on out. So we can see there's also some Tu-95 Bears down there on the ramp.
Ассистент, разрешаю руление на полосу 8. Второй, пошел. Третий, пошел. Четвертый, пошел.
Now, taxiing in the MiG-19, you have to be very careful. I probably went too fast around that corner. You need some speed to be able to make corners with the differential braking, but it is very easy for it to get away from you. As we can see, the snow is starting to come down a little bit harder. Our big vertical stabilizer behind us is definitely acting like a big sail and really pulling us around. This will be a very interesting crosswind takeoff. It'll be the first one I've done in the MiG-19, so hopefully it isn't too bad. Make sure we stay on the center line. Now it's kind of interesting, kind of one of those weird timeline mind warps that the Tu-95 Bear actually entered service with the VVS and Soviet Navy prior to the MiG-19, which seems weird because it's such a bare bones little fighter, and the Tu-95 is still in service, which would make one think that maybe it's a bit of a more advanced design, but of course it's been upgraded extensively. It's kind of one of those weird, like, timeline mind warps. Like, the fact that the Aztec Empire was at its height at the same time that Shakespeare was writing his plays. You know, it doesn't sound right, but you know that factually it is correct. Whoa there, Wingy. Yeah, the AI MiG-19s like to taxi really freaking fast, and so I haven't had one actually hit me, but just be aware of that. So we'll go ahead and take the active.
6. Взлет запрещаю. 6. Ассистент. Взлет по готовности. Отход по схеме на 300 подавлений. 7, 2, 5, запятая 4, 9.
Alrighty. So as you can see, the cockpit textures are certainly upgraded. Things look a little worn, a little dirty. Looked like the jet was hammered together in a Soviet factory and sold off to a third world nation, or used at a very, very austere Siberian interceptor base, something of that nature. Definitely not as dirty as like a 30-year-old Heapler Tomcat, but I digress. So we'll go ahead and punch it, and we'll get going. Got our flaps, should be good to go. We'll give her a little bit of nose up trim. And we will be dancing on the brake lever and the rudder pedals, that is for sure. So that big old vertical stabilizer behind us is acting like a big sail in this crosswind, and as a result is pushing our nose right into the wind, which when you think about it, it seems wrong, but if you think about it, you know, it is actually correct. So if I take the rudder off, we can see that pretty huge crab that we get coming off the runway. So we'll go ahead and push radio button 2. And we'll come off towards where our flight plan has us going. Looks like our wingings are joining us. Baltic Dragon told me that if reception to this mission is high, he will go ahead and turn this into a campaign for the MiG-19. So if you like the story setup and you like the gameplay that you're seeing, definitely sound off in the comments if you'd like this to be turned into a campaign. Because I know that Baltic Dragon would love to see some support for it before he invests all that time and energy into creating a campaign for it. Alright, we've got radio button 2 going. We'll start bringing it out towards our correct heading. So I believe we should be trying to slot right through this large mountain pass out in front of us. why don't we go ahead and tuck our wingmen in, just in case we have to push through these large cloud layers. So going along with the theme that the MiG-19 was an incredibly simple aircraft and very easy to produce, the Chinese version, the Shenyang J6, was considered an expendable asset by the Chinese Air Force. People's Liberation Army Air Force, that is. And they didn't even bother to overhaul them or really do all that much maintenance to them. Once the aircraft hit about 100 hours on the airframe was thrown away, discarded, melted back down into razor blades, or probably melted down into a new J6. And as a result of that, they were incredibly cheap to produce and incredibly numerous. And both the Iranians and the Iraqis bought J6s for use in the Iran-Iraq War. They're incredibly cheap, like I said before, and the Iranians and Iraqis used them for missions that are incredibly dangerous, like interdiction, CAS, and ground attack type missions in contested airspace where they knew that it was very highly likely that the aircraft wouldn't be coming home, but it wasn't an asset that was particularly important. Very interesting difference between the philosophy between tactical air assets between the East and West there. Especially in the Islamic Republic of Iran Air Force, whose formal training and doctrine revolved heavily around Western ideas, especially with more expensive aircraft like F-4s, F-14s, and F-5s in their inventory. But I assume that would be why they wanted the J6 in the first place. Yep, so we're coming up on the mountains here. Alright, so continue on course 174, but we'll go ahead and climb through the cloud layer. Make sure we keep an eye on our ADI so we don't get vertigo and lose our bearings. I even tend to look down at the backup ADI in the F-18 when I'm flying through a cloud deck. Sometimes the HUD can confuse me and give me a little bit of vertigo, actually, which sounds strange, but is 100% true. Alright, so we'll push through the cloud layer here. One thing that's really great about Baltic Dragon's missions that I've noticed... Oh, that's a very pretty picture right there. Let's go ahead and take a screenshot. One of the very cool things about Baltic Dragon's missions and campaigns is the enemy presence is usually manageable. It's not, you don't fly a Baltic Dragon mission expecting to get shot down by some unknown or crazy skilled enemy. The challenge of his mission lies in flying the mission, being in the right spot, communicating on the radios, all these kinds of things, and if you're on top of your game, you know what you're doing, you got good SA, you're going to be able to manage any enemy presence just fine. And so I think that's a really good way to do DCS missions, because it can be very frustrating to fly through a long, well-scripted mission and then just get shot down. Alright, so we'll go ahead and go to our next map page. And since we're over Georgian airspace, we'll go ahead and fence in. Put our radar to standby. We'll arm our cannons. Just in time, I suppose. So we'll flip up that cover so we can get rid of our tanks nice and quickly if needed. So we'll go ahead and get the radar turned on. Like I've said in previous videos, I kind of look at the radar being kind of a backup for your Mark 1 eyeball. 141. So it should be over here somewhere. It should be marking unless they're under the cloud deck. Ah, there they are. Looks like they're right at Coal. Looks like maybe there's 4 of them. 2, 3, 4. Okay, yeah, there's 4 of them. So, since they're unresponsive, and it seems like maybe the political situation has deteriorated since we've taken off, even in that short amount of time, why don't we go ahead and turn into them and intercept them. That's a pretty picture too. Clouds are have a little too much warmth to them for my desire, but that's all right. It'd be cool if there was a way to adjust that. I tend to like really cool colors in my games. I don't know why, just one of those personal preference things. Okay, yeah, they're definitely turning to intercept us. So let's go ahead and let the wingies do their thing. We'll get as much juice from these tanks as possible. Whoop, something's locking me up. Alright, tanks are away. Missiles are not locked onto the enemy aircraft. They are, in fact, locked onto the sun at the moment. They're very, very sensitive to that. So just be aware. Because we're at such a high altitude with such a high wing sweep. Got 3 coming after me. There they go. So as I was saying, this is going to be a very interesting engagement. We are way up high. We have a hugely high stall speed. The improvements to the flight model are really going to make this a difficult engagement. So we're going to stay fast as possible. Fox 2. Come on, baby. Yes, splash 1. So we want to be careful with these MiG-15s. They seem like they should be easy prey, but the differences between our two jets and the stall speeds and the different sweep in the wings and the power of the engines makes it so that we're going to want to be an energy fighter and they're going to want to try and draw us into a slow speed turn, which we do not want to be drawn into, or we will stall way before they will. So we're staying fast. No, that's not no good. Not a good weapons engagement parameter. So we'll take it upstairs. Oh, did not see him. Got to make it entertaining for the viewers, I guess. This is one of the strangest dogfights I have had in DCS World. The cheating AI really doesn't help. Okay, I should get a good weapons on this guy up here. Let's see if we can get him. Do you have a good firing solution? Oh, he's going into the clouds. Let's go get him. Yeehaw. Okay, looks like he made a mistake. Now, if we can get our nose up here without stalling, we should be able to get a good weapons solution. Fox 2 again. Push it over. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Nice. I think we got him. Bringing our cannons back. I'm not going to uncage the gun sight. I feel the gyros are a bit too sensitive in the MiG-19. Shit, I lost him in the clouds. We'll get these traitors. Oh boy, yeah, he's got a way smaller turning radius than we do. And now we're in a horizontal scissors, almost. Whoa, this is weird. Oh boy. Wow. He could have gotten me with a snapshot there. Yeah, looks like he's on me now. Yeah, the AI wants to take it into a vertical fight. And you just do not have the power in this jet at this altitude to be able to do that, which is really, really unfortunate. Looks like this guy's damaged. I think this might be the last enemy. Is he going in? Might be going in. Yep. Alright. Alright, looks like there's one last Separatist pilot still up here. Wish I had another missile. This would have been a good shot for a missile right here. Yeah, we are using a heck of a lot of gas. Hopefully we'll still be able to continue on mission. Alright, well, we're going to approach him carefully as we're flying through the cloud deck. Three miles out, 2 kilometers out, according to our radar. Alright, we're through the clouds. There we go. And you can see those new gun sounds as well. You can really hear the chug of that really low rate of fire. Okay, now we just gotta figure out where the heck we are. And we're definitely gonna keep an eye out, make sure we don't have SA-2s coming through the cloud deck up at us. So 520. There we go. Right now we'll go ahead and throw her into compass. Yep. So from this point on, we're definitely going to be conserving fuel as much as possible. Over that beacon. Unsure as to what they want us to do. Let's check our briefing. We'll turn east towards Tblisi. Okay. So I guess we will turn around in another bit of an airliner turn and head towards Tblisi. Hopefully we have enough gas to do this. I am rather worried about that. Unfortunately, there was just no way to win that engagement without dropping our tanks. We are using up fuel quick. Put our radar back into standby mode. Got our cannon selected still, that's good. No missiles. Let's check out our flight, see if we have any missiles on our flight left. Looks like all of them kept their missiles. One thing I have noticed is the AI is very, very reluctant to fire the missiles. I'm probably a little bit too liberal when it comes to shooting missiles, but I think the AI is a little too conservative. Oh man, if we make it back home in terms of gas, I will be floored. I'm going to go ahead and go into a shallow nose down in an effort to keep up speed while conserving juice. Probably can't see it or hear it, but I'm clicking on the dial. Because if I were in a real jet right now, I'd be flicking the dial saying, "Are you right, man? Are you right?" Back in idle. I'm not sure what the standard deviation of the fuel gauge is, but or the standard error, I should say. I guess we'll find out. See, do I get an altitude? No, that's just the mission editor. Never mind. Alright, we seem to be conserving fuel a little better being back in idle in this little dive. Now watch us get blasted by an SA-2. Alright, we'll keep an eye on our ADI. The English cockpit in the MiG-19 is very, very much appreciated. And I hope that Rosbaum continues that with the MiG-23 that is to come. Alright, getting a little nervous here. Ah, plenty of altitude. So besides the radio navigation, the Arc 5, which is this guy right here, and this little guy right here, you really don't have much in the way of navigation in the MiG-19. So I know that some people think that this kneeboard navigation is a bit of a cheat, and I can understand that, but it's really all we've got. So we'll push up the power a little bit. Based on how the DCS AI wingmen do, I'm guessing that our wingmen are going to run out of gas. Just a thought. I guess I'm going to follow this string of fields right into Tblisi out here. Little hole in the clouds over there. Alright, let's turn these off. So I guess we'll see if there's any fighting in the capital of Georgia. I guess we headed below the cloud deck a little earlier than GCI wanted, but that was for fuel conservation. Heading 120. We'll get that on the nose. I'm going to fly the jet as gently and conservatively as possible, just for fuel consumption concerns. Alright, that's interesting. Weather looks good enough. I could probably see some tracers if there was fighting going on. You can see Vizani up here. Should be the third airfield. Yep, on the nose. Weather seems okay. You It's not the best visibility in the world, but we're not getting shot at. At least not from what I can tell yet. Oh, there's some smoke in that football stadium. There's some smoke. Looks like a factory or a warehouse block. Take it down a little bit lower and fly right over Vizani. Nice tight formation right over them. That'll put the fear of the Soviet state into the hearts and minds of the Separatists. Oh, yeah, definitely getting some good old-fashioned turbulence down low. Some nice Soviet apartment blocks. Not getting shot at. All looks quiet.
Разрешение дано. Набирайте высоту и следуйте курсом 350.
Alright, I guess we're heading home. These weather conditions really weren't that bad. Oh my god. Yeah, we're kind of screwed when it comes to gas. Alright, let's see if we can get a climb. Hopefully we don't get jumped by more MiG-15s. If not, we'll probably have to land at a Separatist airbase. Or at least eject over the mountains. So, either way pretty much means certain death. Wow. Being a Soviet fighter pilot is scary. The good guys will kill you, the snow will kill you, and the bad guys will definitely kill you. Alright. So I'm thinking right now I'm doomed. Could I potentially evade my wingman and land at Vizani and join the Separatist groups? Or should I risk the Caucasian wilderness after an ejection due to fuel starvation? Not enough fuel to get to Turkey. I think we're going to take our chances with the Caucasian wilderness. I really don't think the Separatists would appreciate my shooting down 3 of their MiGs, so I think that option's out. At least we're getting some altitude. Oh my god, our gas. This is going to be an absolute photo finish. Let's turn off all non-essential systems, just in case that helps us out. Oh my gosh. So Soviet MiG-19 pilots must have had balls made of Soviet stalinium, depleted stalinium. Motivated by the sheer joy that communism brings. I don't know. Give me an F4 any day. I'll take an F4 over a MiG-19. I may be slightly biased on that, though. Let's see how... We are definitely not making it. Oh my god. So MiG-19s and J6s are expendable. And apparently Spud Knocker is expendable too. And for all of those of you out there thinking, Spud, why the hell did you jettison those fuel tanks? When you get the MiG-19 and you try to dogfight over the tippy tops of the Caucasus Mountains, you will see why I dropped those tanks. Especially against our infinite energy AI. Oh my god. Well, at least we reported back that there's no ongoing fighting, it's just simply some burning buildings. We're going to pull our throttle way back. So, looking at the map, we have a bit of a conundrum here. We're over the mountains now, so if we can get a bit further, we can get over an area that we may be able to survive if we have to eject. But if we don't go far enough, we will land on the tippy tops of the mountains and freeze to death. I think I'm going to have to title this video, Spud Knocker Contemplates Defecting to NATO. Yeah, an F4 with 3 600-gallon tanks. Sounds pretty nice right now. Why didn't I choose to be a frickin' bear pilot and just fly in circles around the Mediterranean or the Pacific and take pictures of intercepting Phantoms and maybe Tomcats later? Alright, we're halfway there. Wind is blowing us a little bit. In terms of radio beacon, I am not sure what radio beacon we're supposed to be going for anyway. We still got 520 hertz on the ARK. Any other weight we can get? Can I get rid of those launchers? So we're almost over the hump. I wonder if my wingmen are having the same thoughts as I have, contemplating the meaning of life. Cease gaining altitude. Basically just flying the jet with the trim hat right now. So I'm either dead or I'm gonna land and get Hero of the Soviet Union at this point. Shooting down 3 of those separatists. Little did Comrade Khrushchev know that I was plotting to defect the entire time. Alright. I'm just completely skipping waypoint 6 at this point. The straight line is the shortest path between 2 points. So we'll pull it back into idle, and we'll just cruise. So I want to stay, at least have a little bit of gas left for any kind of pattern work or finagling we may need to do. So we'll let the nose come down. I don't really want to come down that far. Bring a little bit of trim. We're really going to muck up the trim for when I bring the power back on, but we will tackle that issue once we get there. Let's take a look at the map. Okay, I'm getting slightly more optimistic. Here's to hoping for a short in the fuel gauge. I'm gonna trim her up as much as possible. Could be the world's first MiG-19 glider pilot. That was not as much distance as I had hoped. Keep trimming her up. We're losing airspeed. And unfortunately, I wish I had an F-pass page, because then I could see how fast I should go at this altitude to get maximum range or endurance. Yeah, see, there's no push buttons around my MFD here. And you can see just how crazy of an angle of attack I'm flying at based on my wingmen there. Oh boy. So, let's come slight right. This waypoint 7 looks to be way offset from our airfield. So, like I said, a straight line is the best way to get from point A to point B. So no need to make it a giant right triangle. Wow, even idle sucks down fuel like crazy. marking anymore. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Next time I intercept an F4 over the Black Sea, I'm going to give the international sign for "I'm jealous of your 3 giant external fuel tanks." We'll have to figure out a sign for that. We shouldn't crash into the side of a mountain coming out of the clouds, but you never know. Why don't we go ahead and adjust our radar altimeter? The wobbliness in that fuel gauge is not giving me much confidence. We're into the weather again. Okay. We might make it. I am cautiously optimistic at this point. As long as we don't hit the side of a mountain on our way through the clouds. At this point, I just kind of want to break through. Maybe we're getting close. There we go. Oh my goodness. Where's the airport? What's our airport name again? Mozdok. Okay, we still got some altitude to play with. We're gonna have to retrim this guy out because we are way whacked.
Ассистент, 6-й, возврат.
6. Ассистент. Следуйте курсом 353. Удаление 6-0. Давление 725,4 в 9. Посадочный 0,8. Занимайте высоту круга.
No visual yet, but we're going for runway 8. Okay, so same way we took off. It's on the other side of the river. Oh shit, the other side of the river. My cautious optimism has failed. So obviously we're too far gone to defect. If we eject, we'll probably get shot for potentially running out of fuel. Maybe my 3 kills will give me some sort of credibility. Where are you, airport? Oh, there you are. Oh boy. I guess we'll get some dead stick landing practice. I gotta stop looking at the fuel gauge. I guess it's a good thing that a game could actually give you anxiety. Oh my gosh, airport. Come closer. Who thought it was a good idea to build the airport on the other side of the river? Should have built it on this side of the river. We are doing some wacky things with our trim right now, just trying to get the most we possibly can. I don't want to trade altitude for airspeed too much, but I'm really surprised the AI hasn't run out of gas yet. When the Hornet first released, the AI would run out of gas like all the time, and I almost never returned from a mission with a wingman because they'd always run out of gas and eject. Cautious optimism is returning. However, that optimism is extremely cautious. Trading altitude for distance at this point, not even airspeed, as we try and bring our glider on in. Thankfully we have a tailwind, so at least that's helping a little bit. Need I remind everyone, this is not a tutorial video. This is not a monkey see, monkey do. This is a cautionary tale, if anything. Oh my god, look at that fuel gauge. Yeehaw. Let's go ahead and give her some flaps. Who knows if that flaps are helping or hurting. At this point, it's anyone's guess. Yeah, at this point, we're about to stall. So we're gonna have to add some power. I'm gonna take the flaps off. Oh my god, we're getting down to the wire. The question now is, what is the standard error of the fuel gauge in the MiG-19? Because it's Soviet technology, 1950s Soviet technology, I'm guessing it's rather large. Alright, I think I'm gonna make it. I have one landing attempt. That is it. Thankfully, she is a easy aircraft to land. So we're gonna make basically a 90-degree turn.
Ассистент, 6-й. Разрешите посадку. Звену. Порядок колонна.
We might make it. Even if it's a dead stick, I think we'll make it. Oh, we're getting into the turbulence area. I'm really surprised you guys are not out of gas. Alright, gears coming down. Flaps to full. Power's gonna have to come up. Okay, we're at a little bit higher than I thought we were. That's a good thing, I suppose. Power's gonna have to come up. May make this landing extra hard just to plant it on the runway and make sure we don't have to go around for any reason. Now, I'm unsure if that's a stall or fuel warning. Oh boy, here comes that crosswind landing. And I better get Hero of the Soviet Union for this. Wow. Oh my god. It's a terrible approach and going to be a terrible landing. Oh my god. Drag chutes out. Yep. Rudder authority degrading quickly. Oh my gosh. And I'm alive. Holy crap. So all that talk about defection and whatnot, you guys can forget that. We made it back. Hopefully to a hero's welcome. So hopefully you guys enjoyed my inner monologue read aloud. My crew chief could probably fit the remaining amount of gas into a shot glass at this point. I guess jet fuel isn't that much different from vodka. So, no need to defect or worry about getting executed for destroying a jet by running out of gas. We destroyed 3 traitors to the motherland. All in all, a good day for a Soviet fighter pilot. So we'll pull up to one of these gas trucks. So, like I said at the beginning of this mission, leave a comment down below if you would like to see this mission turned into a campaign against some Georgian Separatists in the MiG-19. Like I said, Baltic Dragon would really appreciate some feedback so that he doesn't put in a ton of time and effort on something that people don't necessarily really want. I know he'd appreciate that. And he'd appreciate your feedback on the mission just by itself. And if you guys are excited to fly it or not. So hopefully you guys can return with less or more than 0 gas in your fuel tank. So that was exciting. So fly safe, guys, and have a good time. Enjoy this awesome product, DCS World. And the MiG-19 will be in your hands very soon. Thanks a lot, guys. A like and a subscribe would be much, much appreciated. See you later.